It's 6:30 and a quorum being present, I call this meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Have you all read the minutes and agree with them?
I'm good.
The only thing, minor issues, and one of them has me making the motion. I don't believe I did that.
For which one?
January 19th, 2022. It's circled, or it's highlighted, that I made the motion to adjourn.
Oh, so yeah, I made that edit too. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it says I made the motion to adjourn, and I don't think I would have made the
I
motion.
think that was me that made the motion.
Yeah,
Okay, I thought I watched the video back.
I don't think technically I can make motions.
Okay.
Yeah, as the chair, I have to call, I have to ask for a motion.
I got you. Okay.
So you want to skip over the January 19th until it's corrected? Or do you just want to change it?
Yeah, I can make that edit, and if that's the only edit, then
Yeah,
yeah.
so we can,
All right, then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 19th, 2022, with the changes of the motion for the adjournment to Mr. Holland versus Mr. Ronan.
do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much. All right.
Okay, now we're on
Next.
to November 3rd.
I thought, was that not a motion to do all of them?
I think you have to do them each individually.
Yeah, that was only for the 19th.
Yeah.
Oh, all
The motion
right.
was only for the 19th. right there.
And Mr. Gove has to not vote on this one. He wasn't here November.
Correct.
Or October, but you were here for the,
I was here for the 19th.
okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of November 3rd, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
And then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 20th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right. All right, first item, agenda item A, violation notice, Group 1 Realty, Inc., 464 to 468 Main Street, Assessors Map 22, Lot 71, 117. Is there anybody here for that? Could you please come and introduce yourselves, please?
I am Steve DeSilva, and this is James
Davis.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to present, or Joe, do you have anything? If
Yeah, I can just give a backstory. I think the violations were identified on circa January 20th, 2022. The violations consisted primarily of just putting snow within the wetland area. After visiting the site, there was other violations such as storing tires and other just miscellaneous oil drums outside, which would go against the stormwater management, groundwater recharge, and water quality analysis report for the project. Then there was just a few areas of silt fencing that just needed repair, maintenance, or just an area that needed a silt fence. But I do recognize that the project is primarily completed, but I did notice that the area of loam and seed was kind of like semi-stabilized. It wasn't quite there yet, but you know, it was melting winter conditions, so I still think the silt fences would be needed.
Yeah, we can have that extended. I wasn't fully involved in the overall construction.
Sure.
So where they installed the silt fence, we thought that was the cutoff point, but if you need
Yeah.
additional silt fence put there, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's just, as the photo log shows, there's just a few areas that you
Yes.
could just restaple the silt fence.
Yeah.
And that should be fine.
So all areas that you mentioned in the violation have been addressed. So the ties have been removed. They were stored there forever. So it was just basically a force of habit. So that's all been addressed. The oil tank, that's been removed. Those drums were actually empty. They were to be disposed of. So those are all actually gone.
Sure.
There was a rocking chair, something thrown that
Yeah.
you can see. So that's been removed. So the two areas of concern is getting taken care of, the adding the silt fence and repairing the silt fence.
Yeah.
Everything else has been addressed
Yeah,
at that point. The challenging part was not understanding where the barrier was
Sure,
when they were
yeah.
plowing. So
Yep.
it was more of not understanding than doing it out of, being
Yeah.
malicious.
These are kind of just notes that I recognize. Responding to the snow in the wetlands was the primary reason why I was
Yeah.
out there. There is still a plastic like tube. I was out there earlier
Yeah, that
today.
was like irrigation. I didn't
Yeah.
catch it because I think the snow was on it. And
Yep.
I think the irrigation is not tied off. I think they coil it to add more. So I think that's what it is, but the ground is frozen, so you really can't tell.
Sure.
If that's, sitting there to tie in something else in the front.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure until all it melts, we can't really tell what that is.
Sure. Okay, but that would be part of the removal.
Yes, yeah. So if they,
Yeah.
when the landscapers come back, they have to obviously cut it off, cap it, whatever the case is for the landscaping.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I did another site visit today, and like you said, the silt fencing is, still needs to be maintained and new
Yeah.
silt fencing placed. But the tires have been removed, the oil drump's been removed, the miscellaneous, like the rocking chair and the wetlands
Yeah.
and stuff, that's been removed. So all that remains is the
Yeah.
silt fence maintenance and just the removal of that
Yeah, it's
miscellaneous.
just challenging because everything's frozen.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make
Yep.
mistakes and whatnot to restaple. It'd probably do more harm than good right now that we're aware of not, pushing it past that point.
Sure.
Is there gonna be anything put in place? So, because I'm just thinking like,
A sign or something,
what's that?
a sign?
Yeah, because like a plower is just gonna go and plow where they think it should go. Like, I don't think it was malicious that they were doing anything, but
Yeah.
a sign saying, don't plow beyond this point would help prevent this.
Sure.
Yeah.
What we did for an initiative, but unfortunately the ground was frozen, we did the best that we could, was shortly after I went down to Home Depot, bought the real tall stakes so we can create the flags. Our plow guys, our plow guys are the same two guys every year. So
All right. So-
definitely, it's not like we're hiring outside sources and bringing them in. So it's two in-house employees that plow. So we walked the whole facility, we pointed everything out to make sure that everybody understood. That's why if you went by, we basically consumed the parking spots instead of pushing it onto the grass. So it's all been corrected, so that way there is no issues with the wetlands.
No, since the license was transferred, will a new ordinance follow?
Yes, because this
I'm
gentleman's
with the
here.
new owners.
Okay, I just want to make sure they're aware
Yeah,
that you've been here
yes,
and the problem is resolved.
yeah,
Precisely why I'm here.
yeah. The one area that, and I didn't see it in the pictures, that I just want to mention is the back side of the dealership where they do plow. All the snow that's in the wetlands is from the big businesses behind us. So they actually filled the wetlands behind us with snow. So you might want to take a look. That wasn't us. Okay.
So yeah, just for the commission's reference, part of the project was to have you guys have signs that say Conservation Commission area, something to that effect.
The turtle ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry for lack of better terms.
Yeah, yeah.
There's probably, there's like 20 of them all the way around the building
Yeah.
for.
So that kind of helps with the
Yeah.
snow.
And we also installed, not realizing, because it was basically, like I said, breakdown of communication and understanding. The guardrail does wrap around the entire dealership. So we're also using that as the guide or a sign saying, hey, nothing past this guardrail will work. So when they cut this blade for the snow, it'll rest against the guardrail and nowhere else. So it won't be moved over anymore.
I don't think there's one of those signs where where the violation was originally noticed. So that could have been part of the issue. Is
Sure.
that they didn't see that. But another thing worth noting is just the snow removal plan in general. The original plan called for no snow if it goes above the curb and for off-site disposal. Is that still the case, or do you
So
guys?
I was never aware of that because, again, I've been at that location for 6 years, and prior to that, I was there for about 2 years. And I don't know if that's something new, because we've never had any snow removal above the curb. It was always plowed into banks and left there. So I don't know if that's something new since the new project came on.
I think it's from the new
Is it
project.
from the new project? Because I was
From
never
the
made
new
aware that it
project,
needed to
and-
be removed, because we don't even have the equipment to do it. Like, we don't have a skid steer or a loader or anything like that. So this is all brand new to me, as it's
Yeah.
gonna be to him now.
I mean, that's just what the documentation says. But from a practicality perspective, like if you have the extra parking, I don't see an issue with that, but
That's fair. We appreciate that, because, trying to haul it off, I mean, trying to coordinate that in a timely manner, how would you do that during a snowstorm?
I think they're in luck. I think we're gonna lose a lot of snow tonight or tomorrow.
Absolutely, man. I'm not complaining about 60 degrees the next couple of days.
Warmer than it was this morning.
Yeah.
You know, I had the same problem where someone put stuff in my pond, retention pond, and I have some signs made up. Do not push snow away.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. We'll definitely look at that, consider it.
I'll give you one a copy if you want.
Sure.
I just had
Yeah.
the guy down the street make them for me.
so I guess my next question is, do you plan on coming to the commission with a first certificate of compliance anytime soon for the project?
I don't handle that, so
Okay.
I have to figure out when. So group one is, I know they're waiting on some more sign-offs. I think there's National Grid has to do a
Oh,
few
okay.
things. I know we had to have the electrician come on add a light because the handicap stalls there was enough lumens there. So I know there was a few hanging things. So, but I don't handle that personally. That would be
Okay.
on the construction side. But I
Okay.
know that they are working on getting it all finalized.
So it's not just a license, the car dealership license, the entire property being transferred?
The best of my knowledge, everything was transferred. I apologize, I don't know what happens behind the scenes, it's way above me.
We purchased land and
So it's the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay.
But the-
Because you will have to come to get a certificate of compliance. I think we gave them 2 years for the seed. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, I wasn't privy to that information, so
Right.
I don't want to give you an answer that I don't know what.
Okay, that answers my question.
Anybody else?
No questions?
No questions?
And remind me again, this is violation notice, so we don't,
This is just
This is-
just a conversation.
yeah, all right. All right, then, thank you very much for appearing
Excellent.
here.
And I really appreciate the communication. That makes it just a lot easier for all of us. So if you see something that's not right, just communicate back to
Yeah.
us, and
Yeah.
we'll get it handled. It's something that, we create a relationship in the town, and we just work together to make it happen.
Good luck to you, too.
thank you.
I would say in the springtime, just
It's,
Unbelievable.
yeah, it's really, took you a while, but
I would say in the springtime, just coordinate with me as far as removing that miscellaneous items, the irrigation pipe.
Yeah, we'll get that
And
taken care of. I
this-
think there's a cone that might be still frozen to the ground in that pile, so we'll make sure that it's all nice and tidy. And I apologize, because some of the construction stuff was left behind. You can't have a pretty building with debris all over the place. And I didn't realize that he left his rocking chair in the
Yeah.
woods, otherwise I told him to bring it home.
That's how it goes sometimes. So, at the end of the day, if you have some time to stop by the store, I'd like to sit down, meet with you, walk the property.
Sure.
Give me an idea of what it is you're looking for exactly, so we can continue to have a good relationship.
Sure.
With the town and with conservation in general.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great
All
night.
right, thank you.
All right, before we get too much further, is there anybody here for the notice of intent from Civil Design Consultants at Vale Street? All right, that has been, they've asked us to continue, so that applicant is not here right now. However, the representative will be here for a different one. I just want to, or is that being the?
That's kind of just a conversation amongst the commission. It's not like,
I just want to, say it because if you recognize somebody, it's because they're here for a different thing that is, being discussed. It's not for the thing that you're here for. just to, let you know.
You happen to know what lots they plan to put those houses on? Because the letter says there's 3 single-family houses they want to put in. Do you know what lots they're gonna be putting them on?
Can't discuss that because they
Yeah.
have to open the public hearing. So what I would do is go to the ones that are going to be continued. We'll make the motion continue.
So the site plans that they've proposed are on the town website.
Okay.
And so that will give you an idea of exactly where they are.
Okay, are they in the conservation one or is it in the planning one?
It's conservation.
Conservation?
Yep.
I didn't see anything here on plans, I was looking for them.
Okay, if you have trouble finding it, you can just give my office a call.
Sure.
And I can send it to you via email right away.
Okay,
Alrighty?
thank you.
Alrighty.
And they plan on coming to the next meeting, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
March
so the next meeting will be March 2nd.
The reason I asked too is that I know a few weeks ago they had a small one of those backhoes that were going through that road there, but I don't have no idea what they're doing there, so. I don't know if they were filling in part of that stream or what, I have no clue. Anyways, all right, thank you very much.
Sorry for any inconvenience.
Have a good night.
All right. Next one is public hearing, notice of intent, Rui and Delia Grillo, 90 Pinnacle Street, Assessors Map 77, Lot 24, DP file number 3051153. This is being continued.
Yep, to March 2nd.
All right. Could I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right. Public hearing, notice of intent, Landplex of Lowell, Massachusetts, on behalf of Richard Hupper, 60 Highland View Road, DP file number not yet assigned. Could you introduce yourself for the record?
Sure.
Joe, do you want to give me his number? I'm going to drop a sign off to him. I should take a picture of it. It's a big sign, do not push snow, and for my own, that's what I had made up.
Oh, really?
I was going to give him one because it's just a little bit bigger than that.
I don't have a sign in my files for that.
No, I need his number. I'll give you one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matt Hammer with Landplex Engineering, 10 George Street, Lowell, Mass. I'm here representing Highland View Realty Trust for a notice of intent filing for 60 Highland View Road. And just want to give Joe the original certified mailing receipt for notifying the abutters. And I don't know if anyone's been out to the property, but this is Highland View Road right here. The lot is right here. It's approximately 45,000 square feet. It's a pretty level gravel area going through the site. There's the end of Highland View here. There's a small island with a transformer, and there's some utilities that are stubbed into the property. The wetland that was delineated by Norse Environment is a small isolated wetland that's actually on the other side of the right-of-way. And the 100-foot buffer extends into the area here. After we filed, it came to our attention that there's actually a wetland within the other property. This is the second time in a row this has happened to me. There's a wetland over within the property of a commercial property here. So we located the head wall to the drainage system that contributes to that wetland, and we added to the plan the 100-foot buffer, which does come onto our property, which is shown here. I have this colored plan that just gives a nice kind of broad view of what we're doing. I'll go through the grading plan as well. But essentially, we're going to be utilizing the two curb cuts that are coming out onto Highland View Road. This is going to be a paved area around the property, around the proposed building. And this brown rectangle is the proposed building. The building's going to be utilized for this new technology greenhouse that's going to have a robotics function to it. So it's not like your standard greenhouse where it's, you know, kind of got the rows and it's got plastic over the top. This is going to be a full glass building, and like I said, it's going to have a robotics processing to it. So it's going to be a relatively benign use of the property in terms of it being in a heavy industrial district. There'll be about 3 or 4 people in the building, and they're growing strawberries within the building itself. So there's very little chemicals of any kind related to the use for that. I know in heavy industrial districts that can become an issue, but I just figured I'd give you an overview of that. And then around is this green space around the actual pavement itself. The proposed project is going to utilize a subsurface drainage system. There's essentially a high point back here, and the drainage comes through a surface swale within the parking paved area itself along both sides of the building. We'll go into oil water separator units that'll have a dual function. They'll act as a catch basin system as well as removing the sedimentation from the surface runoff. And that'll go into a subsurface drainage system here. Sheet 5 of 6 is an erosion control plan. What we're proposing to do is encase the entire project with erosion control, as well as come across where the end of the pavement is with that erosion control, so we can help mitigate anything that might come off of the site and come down the existing pavement. So any potential runoff will be mitigated through erosion control here. There's also on this plan we're going to do 2 stone construction entrances, which help with removing dirt coming in and out of the site, and those are located here and here. Additionally, we're going to propose a stockpiling area in the back of the site, just well outside of the 100-foot buffer, obviously, but back in the back of the site so that it's out of the way for the construction of the building itself. And that'll be our mitigation. I have also have a silt sack detail here in case any of the catch basins need to be covered during construction, so that the infiltration system doesn't get inundated with any sedimentation while the site's still under construction, still being stabilized. We were lucky enough to receive a DP file number yesterday, which was surprising. Usually we don't get those in time before the meeting. There were no comments on those on the review from Mass DEP. And I did receive some initial comments from Joe Fontaine that he provided me in an email, which talks about putting some erosion control over here. Is that right, Joe?
So my comments were for erosion sediment control.
Yeah,
I asked about the viability of putting the erosion and sediment control across that road. Because I believe
Right.
it's pavement, correct?
that's this pavement. We're proposing across the road here, but it's at the end of the road.
Right. So I guess it wouldn't make sense, obviously, to have a staked anything there because it's asphalt, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So I guess I would say for that area, put like the heavier compost socks that actually they're so heavy that they have a good grip against the ground.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can actually dig that down, like a half a foot too, so that it's dug down a little bit into the ground, or like 4 inches,
Okay.
so that it's sitting in a little trough.
Sure. Yeah. If you're
There.
able to get through the
Yeah.
asphalt, then that makes sense. But
What's that?
if you're able to get through the asphalt, then that makes sense. That's
Well, we're not gonna put it
Right.
in the asphalt, we're gonna put it at the end.
okay.
So the asphalt ends and then it becomes gravel.
Yeah.
Dirt roadish
Yeah.
type thing. All right.
There's actually a gravel road that goes all the way through. And it goes up I don't know exactly where it goes up into the back of a neighborhood.
So
up
that,
this- up
that
the
was my
street.
question is, for that part of the erosion and sediment controls, could you drive a stake into there?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, good. Yep.
So are there any commuters using that road?
No, it's just kids going back and forth. It's not a traveled road.
But there's a house or something at the end of the gravel road?
No,
I'm
well,
looking for the fire department, and if you're gonna.
yeah, they don't use that, to my understanding. They don't use this at all. It's just it's a gravel drive. I'm sure at some point it was used regularly. I have Richard Hupper here, who's, grew up in this area, so he might be able to shed some light on that, but it's not an active fire road,
Okay.
from my understanding.
What about town water? Are you hooking up to town water and town sewer?
Yep, we are. Yep,
In the sewer, so you,
it's all right there.
okay. And fertilizer storage, is that gonna be in the building?
Yes. It's my understanding that this is a hydroponic system, so it's not going to be a soil-based system. So it's not going to, but there will be some fertilizer, might be in a liquid form.
Okay,
So
but it's gonna be stored inside the building?
everything's going to be stored inside the building, yeah.
Okay.
So related to that, there's going to be a floor drain in the building. There's going to be a garage door here. And then there's going to be a grease trap outside the building to then take that to the sanitary sewer system in case there's any spill or anything that would fall within the processing area where these floor drains are. So there's a mechanism within the building to capture anything if something happens
Okay,
within the
so-
building.
Within the building?
Yeah.
So if a jar of fertilizer falls over,
Yep,
the grease trap's gonna capture it, so we're not throwing fertilizer into the sewer system?
correct.
Okay.
So the entire building's gonna have to go through the fire prevention division of the fire department that would regulate any chemicals of any kind related to the use. So that'll all be facilitated through the fire department and the building department to make sure that any liquids or materials within the building has to be provided to the town to have the operation and the use. So they have jurisdiction over everything that goes on inside the building, but there will be no outdoor chemical storage of any kind.
Okay.
And just so the commission's aware, the stormwater on this site, there's to the northeast there's an outfall pipe that comes out of an infiltration system. It's meant as like an emergency
It's
outfall.
an emergency overflow, yeah.
It's outside of the Conservation Commission jurisdictional areas, but it's worth noting that, there's still that pipe that's right next to it that connects it to the wetland across the street. So I guess technically, the commission wouldn't have jurisdiction over compliance with the stormwater standards. That would be with planning, engineering type, but
Yeah, so
I think it makes sense to just have that fully reviewed until.
Yeah, so concurrently, we've already been before the zoning board of appeals for the location of the building. We filed with the planning board for site plan special permit as well as a land disturbance permit for the project. We have an interdepartmental review hearing next Tuesday where, we're anticipating we're gonna have the town engineer's comments. If we don't get them by Tuesday, we'll get them the following Friday before the meeting that we have on the 28th. And I was speaking with Joe saying that, we would just continue tonight, make sure that we've gone through whatever the town engineer has for comments, so that when we're done with the town engineer and the planning board, then we'll have a complete set so that we're not coming back before the commission with a modification in the plans of any kind related to that. There's a full stormwater report been submitted in compliance related to the stormwater bylaw from the town, as well as the stormwater handbook. And then the stockpile was a comment. Does everyone have this email from?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. So one of the comments was, make sure all the soil stockpiling is outside the 100-foot buffer, which can be put in as a condition, the order of conditions. To put these gravel pads in prior to construction. That's actually in our construction sequencing in the stormwater report to do that. If not, we'll make sure that gets put in. We realize that if we're disturbing more than 1 acre, that it will trigger a NIPD's stormwater compliance general permit, construction general permit. Question was, is there dewatering anticipated on the site? These are going to be frost walls. We've done soil testing. We actually went out and did some borings today, but our soil testing showed groundwater down 5 and 6 feet. Bottom of the footing is going to probably be about 5 to 6 feet.
Yeah.
We don't, that's if it got done at seasonal high, but if it was to be dewatered, we would do the dewatering back to this location over here. I actually have a dewatering basin detail that I can include if needed. It's basically just a stone reservoir that we would put the dewatering into that. And then that would collect over here and then work its way this way if it's draining out of that itself.
Would you want to be notified if they do have to de-water anything? Is that not as big of a concern to you?
No, I mean, I think as long as if you do need to de-water, as long as you use a dirt bag on top of stone surrounded by straw wattles, something to that effect, because you wouldn't want to put it in that corner knowing that any water that comes off is probably going to make its way to the wetland across the street. So maybe.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is we have a nice depression back here.
Yeah.
So we could
Depends
put it
on
in stone, and this is all erosion controlled around the site, so it's containing. But we don't anticipate dewatering for the site, but if need be, we would make sure that it's not, the outlet to the dewatering wasn't gonna be going to the wetland area.
Yeah.
So.
I think it could be a condition.
But I have a full dewatering detail that I'll add in. That can be included in the plan, and Joe could just, add that to the IDR meeting on Tuesday, and we'll just make sure that gets incorporated. And then that's my presentation. I can take any questions from the commission or,
You're in heavy industrial, but there are those houses right there, so.
Yeah.
I just ask that you be good neighbors if,
Yeah.
it's not really part of our,
Yeah.
purview, but.
That's a good question. So we reached out to the
Alright.
abutters, the folks who were doing the greenhouse. They went and knocked on the doors to the abutters, asked them if they needed anything. We're anticipating that if they need a fence, we're gonna provide them a fence, which is gonna be here.
Alright.
So we've been in full disclosure that we would provide that. They didn't show up at the zoning board of appeals meeting, I think, because we did reach out to them. And the Huppers have been great neighbors with them so far. And we're not anticipating a problem, but we did knock on their door and let them know what was going on with the proposed project,
Appreciate that.
as well as the commercial tenant over here.
Being proactive is key.
Yeah.
Now, you say this is all robot?
That's what they're telling me.
Yeah, I know,
I'm
it
not
sounds like
really
a,
too
very-
knowledgeable. What?
Sounds like a very interesting project, nice and clean.
Yeah, they have some rotary drum that.
No, but I mean, the whole thing, the whole project is a nice operation, nice, clean operation.
Yeah, the Netherlands are at the forefront of this indoor farming. So they have a big facility, not this particular group, but another group out of the Netherlands have a huge facility over at Fort Devens. And that this facility is gonna be a pilot program to refine their technique, and then they're gonna build a huge facility somewhere in Massachusetts, I guess. And then the temperature in I'd say anything above Connecticut is conducive to the climate they need for these strawberries. So, so apparently there's only gonna be, initially there'll be 4 or 5 people, because they're doing all this testing of their process. And then, once they refine it, there doesn't need to be a whole lot of people within the facility itself to run the operation, but literally, there's just a pickup truck that's gonna come and pick up the strawberries. They have all these strawberries down in Tennessee that they're bringing up to this facility to transport them, because it's too warm down south to grow strawberries. So, but they're gonna be able to get, I believe, 2 to 3 growing cycles out of this facility, where out in our backyard, we're only gonna get 1,
So
right?
it's too warm down there, and, okay, bring them up.
Yeah,
At least it's strawberries and not broccoli.
and who doesn't like strawberries, right? So, they're pretty valuable fruit, I guess, so,
Definitely cool enough up here.
yeah. But the whole top of it's gonna be glass. Like the walls and the ceiling is all glass
Wow.
for this, yeah.
So not like a traditional greenhouse where it's I don't know what material that is. It's not,
Well, yeah, so some of them are glass, but it is gonna be glass, and it's all operational with the sun, and they wanna collect some water out of it, and there's a whole,
Full science to it.
oh, yeah.
Yep.
There's investors in this thing, and it's a big deal, this indoor farming now. And the Netherlands are at the forefront of it, I guess, so.
Tewksbury used to be the carnation capital of the world, now it could be the strawberry capital.
the robot strawberries.
Yeah, so, yeah, this is, if you can believe it, it's just a test facility, so. So,
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, is the pavement on the southeast corner of the site, is that pitched to go towards the site? I see the proposed swale is going, yeah.
yeah,
kind
it's
of where the
actually
road is.
pitched off.
It's what?
It's pitched this way.
But like on the property where you're doing the repaving, right at the bottom corner, where it hits the road? Is there gonna be any type of berm to keep all that?
All this water is gonna stay on site.
Okay, yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that
Yep.
there's some type of either berm or something between the road and the site. That's
Yep,
going to
there's
keep
a-
all that on site.
There's a grading plan where you'll see high points here, which take that water and bring it into the site.
Okay, just want to make sure about that.
Yep.
So you do have a file number, but I take it we can't approve it, or you're not asking us to approve this tonight
But
anyways,
It'd be
right?
kind of nice to close the meeting.
So, yeah, you can open the public hearing, but just continue to the second.
You know, ask the public if they have any comments. If they don't, then close the public comment period part of it. And then we would be back in probably a month
All right,
to close this out, just essentially incorporating anything that changes related to the town's input with the planning board and the departments, interdepartmental review and the town engineer, really more specifically.
I would not.
You can't,
close
you
the
can't,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't close the public hearing. We have to continue it.
Yeah, I just meant the public input portion. But it's up to you.
Public hearing.
It's up to you.
we can open the public hearing
Sure,
right now,
yeah.
but we can't close it until
Sure.
the next, meeting and stuff. All right, with that being said, I will open up the public hearing if there's anybody, but not seeing anybody rise up. All right, so you don't want us to continue it till next meeting, but is there a specific meeting you have in mind?
We can just go out a full month.
Okay.
All right.
What's that?
So the 16th, so a month from now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get through planning in one meeting.
Okay.
It could even be that first meeting in April.
30th, right? Would be the last.
I don't think we have.
March 30th, right? Or is that one?
I don't think we have a meeting on March 30th.
Well, continue it to the one in February, and if he's ready, he can come in, and then if not, we can continue it from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I can just put an email in and not have to come in.
Right.
Okay,
All right.
that'd be great.
All right, so with that, could I have a motion to continue this notice of intent to the March 16th meeting, or whatever is most appropriate?
So moved.
Can I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
So next up is, can I have a motion to continue the notice of intent, Civil Design Consultants, Inc. of Andover, Massachusetts, DP file number not yet assigned to the next meeting?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, and now, this is minor modification, Civil Design Consultants, Inc. of Andover, Massachusetts, 2131 Main Street, DP file number 3051070. Is there anybody here for that?
So, yeah, so Civil Design, who originally designed this, this project, it just reached out because when they went to go construct a sidewalk, as shown in detail B, Mass DOT had some comments. They commented on the fact that the wetlands, as they were flagged, weren't extended further. Let's see, north arrow, don't see one. Further to the right. So basically, the applicant had it reflagged, and they just extended their erosion and sediment controls further to the right to account for any sort of impacts associated with the construction of the sidewalk. So I guess that's really, the only modification is that they extended the wetland line and they extended the erosion and sediment controls associated with the project. So this is just me letting the commission know that that occurred.
And nothing on this project has been started.
Correct.
There's no
Yeah.
buildings in place at this point.
Yeah, I believe this is the property with a bunch of soil stockpiles.
No, this is the property that is the liquor store, isn't it, or Hubbards, or Hobbits? That's what I
This
thought.
is in between Mango Thai Cuisine and Dandelions, somewhere. in-
Okay, so that is the one with the stockpiles of
Yeah.
dirt. Did
This
you
is the
get any
one with the
information on
giant
stockpiles
piles of dirt, yes.
No.
Why did I think this was somebody different?
When I was looking at it, I thought it was the old Wicked Cheesy site, and they were extending the sidewalks, but then I was informed that nothing's been built here yet.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
All right, so we don't have to,
Yeah.
do we have to vote on anything?
Nope.
This is just informational only?
Yeah, I mean, unless someone has objection, it's just kind of
Nope,
assumed that
just-
it's.
Clarifying.
Yep.
All right, next on the agenda, any old business to bring up?
We have to choose the clerk, right?
Yeah, that's, I think, if there's any motions for a new clerk.
I'll make a motion that Mr. Gold become our new clerk.
I don't second that.
Somebody's got to second it.
Second.
Okay, got your second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I knew I was gonna lose.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you for your service. How do you think I got this job?
I think that was forced service.
So then other new business items that may or may not be in the packets is, I wanted to bring up the medallions for when we post them for the 25-foot no disturb zone. We don't have, do we have a medallion that we've designed? Because I don't have any record of.
I would check with Stefania.
Well, I did, and we've been relying off of like the private consultant, designing their own thing. So,
Dick Cuco had something.
Yeah.
yeah, he does, but I don't want to take someone else's design.
I mean, copyright. It's a sign that says, don't go in there. Whatever it
So,
says.
I guess, yeah, I thought it was, we allowed anybody to design their own with the understanding that it should say something along the lines of conservation and don't cross, but if we want to design something as a recommended, but not,
So,
Right.
just to give context, for 390 Kendall Road, the marker, if you recall from the last meeting, the project originally called for a marker flag RF3. So it's not even a 25-foot no disturb zone, it's the marker of where riverfront starts. So, and he asked, what do I put here? And I couldn't really give him a clear answer. So it's either for that situation in particular, we either waive that requirement or we have to come up with something to give him to post there. I don't know what the commission was aiming at when it was originally permitted, but
yeah,
It
when,
was to demarc the wetland area or the riverfront or whatever it happens to be.
Okay.
But again, you can just Google a wetland thing and this is what we can use. Because he's
Okay.
just asking for advice on what he should put down. And if you just Google it, something will come up, yeah, that looks good. But we should still have a standard one.
Right. So we're looking to create a standard? Is this what we're looking for
Yeah,
here?
That's what we, like Cuco and stuff, we discussed then, but,
And we never followed up on it. Mr. Deckoff was the one that was doing it, and
I thought he had some made, Pat.
I thought he had some made too.
I know we've had ones that says this is a 25-foot no disturb zone, but this is now demarcating, like, this would be a different sign because it's like the marker of where it starts, not
Yeah.
a buffer zone.
So the marker should say something along the lines of, this is the riverfront, or, yeah,
It could even just say conservation
Well,
area. And as soon as you see it, nobody's gonna go into it.
Personally, the marker should be self-explanatory
Right.
in layman's terms.
and I think, to Pat's
Yeah,
point,
I
like,
think-
just saying conservation land, I think, is, enough to explain it to any
Let me,
reasonable
let
person.
me
I would
get
write
what
do not disturb or
Cat
something.
made.
Yeah,
I don't
that-
think that is enough.
Did he have that made up for the commission or just for one of his
Oh,
projects?
he did it for several of his projects. He has one down here where that intersection is. Remember, he put the dentist office there?
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me just get one that he has or whatever, and we can.
We can
like it
discuss
Or add to it, whatever.
Right.
Okay?
We need to ask him to
No,
use
no,
that.
Yeah,
Example of what you had. Yeah.
I think that if he's willing to give it to us, then yeah, sure, but like, we can't just take, somebody else's
That's
proprietary
money we got in the account.
design.
I'm sure there's no trademark on the sign.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think we had our input on the kind of design, Dick designed it or whatever between him and the painter, the sign guy.
Okay.
But let me just get what he has. I have to go to the sign guy and get one.
I think I have what he has designed. It's just, again, I didn't want to take someone's, I think getting it in writing saying, yes, this is okay would be good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Either you can call Dick or I'll call Dick.
I just, when people start, selling these things for high value money and, he's over there saying, you stole my design.
It's,
I know.
again, it's not it's a stop sign, and those, you can make your own stop signs. It's not
Will
patent.
be tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Hope Dick's not listening.
But, yeah, I don't know if his is a buffer zone one or just marking the resource area.
But you can have the same style, just make different ones with different
Sure.
sayings on it.
For
But
different
like I said,
applications,
Conservation Commission explains, a conservation area explains just about everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
a cheat sheet just saying any medallion or sign, saying that it should say conservation is probably enough for anybody
Sure.
to take and find a sign on their own, unless we, can provide an actual design for them.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, so, 420 Pinnacle Street. So,
Pass it.
No, pass it down.
so 420 Pinnacle Street, there's a resident who has a pond in their backyard. And back in about November, they had called complaining about rising water levels and, potential mosquito problem for standing water. And
Is this the beaver pond? Is this
No.
where somebody built the dam?
I don't think so.
All right.
But long story short, the Central Massachusetts Mosquito Control Project program, they got involved because they are exempt from WPA to do maintenance activities related to mosquito abatement projects. So basically what they propose to do is just kind of dredge out the area, and then all the soil that they dredge just stays on site. They just kind of put the spoils to the side.
And I'll just wash back in.
I don't know.
This isn't gonna, we're replacing the culvert on Pinnacle Street also, right?
Pringle Street.
Well, that's Pringle Street.
Yep.
So they go clean up the pond and leave all the matter present
On site.
on site,
Yep.
and they're exempt from everything anyway.
They're exempt from WPA, and our bylaw also exempts them.
Right.
But nonetheless, they still provide a cover letter just so if the Conservation Commission had any comment to the work that they have. It does look flooded, but so do a lot of places in town. But, this is the type of project that CMMCP tackles, like large bodies of standing water that are,
This looks like a beaver issue more than anything else.
yeah, there are beaver dams on also. So they have hired a beaver trapper.
Yep.
But
So did they make a pond in the middle of a stream? Or,
it looks like it's man-made.
yeah, all right,
So, but this is going back a while, so it's not like they
Yeah.
recently.
yeah, it says constructed in the 1950s.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
So again, that's bringing it to your attention if you guys have any comments.
I don't have any comments, but anybody else on the commission?
I don't know what we
No,
could
I
do
know.
anyway, right?
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes are.
I say, I say mitigate them,
Yeah, they come
right?
down to my property a lot.
Really?
And go out back and, any tub of water or something, they throw stuff in it.
Yeah, so Mosquito, the Mass CMMCP does a lot of they do maintenance of drainage ditches and man-made ponds, stuff like that. So,
You can call them to tackle like pretty much anything, any standing water that you see. I thought you
Yeah,
could
they'll come out.
give them a
yeah.
call, yeah, and come out.
I say good.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, yep.
I think that's
Well, Triple E or whatever, just.
Quicker the better, right?
violation notice, that's fine. That's it.
that's it. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next meeting is March 2nd.